right. The Yankees split the 4-game set with the Rays. Kind of just treading water at this point. It could have been worse. I had said going into the series that I would take a split, but again, another one of those situations where the Yankees had a chance to win the series. They've not done well in last games of series, and with Cole on the mound, even knowing that the bullpen wasn't really going to be the high leverage guys fully available, just knowing that you had Cole would have been nice to have gotten the series win, but they kind of got what I think they deserved. It would have almost felt weird to have won 3 out of 4. They're not playing particularly well. The bats continue to struggle. The defense has been spotty at best. The base running has been terrible. It's a really poor brand of baseball. So just the fact that they were able to split in some ways is fine, with a big series against the Red Sox coming up here. So that will also we're kind of in still wait and see mode. I feel like this week is a big determining factor. And so far, I kind of just feel the same as I had. They haven't blown their chances by any means, but they have not, progressed. And I think, if they had won 3 out of 4, that would have been a pretty big statement. Although at the same time, again, these especially offensive struggles are just problematic. But the Rays are a very good team. The Yankees were able to scrape across a couple of wins, close wins. And yeah, so we'll see. And, so now the Yankees are going to be 4 back on the loss out of Tampa, 3 back on the loss out of Boston. So very important series coming up with Boston. But let's recap this 4-game set against the Rays. And the first matchup was Rich Hill against Jameson Taillon. And I didn't love that matchup. That was a rematch of a Ray victory at the last series at the Trop. And Rich Hill's been pitching very well. Although in this one, he wasn't overly dominant and didn't really go too deep into the game, but pitched well. And Taillon kept the Yanks in the game, but this was kind of a par for the course game. And at this point in time, a continuation of what was going on in Detroit. So Yankees lose this first one, and so that increased their losing streak to 4. And really hit a low point at this juncture. But like I said, it was Taillon against Hill. In terms of the lineup, you would have Stanton in this game. And with Stanton, it's kind of been in one game out the next kind of thing. Apparently, he's supposed to play the entire Red Sox series, but so far he hasn't really gotten into much of a groove, and he hasn't really played a whole lot. So this one Stanton would play. And other than that, pretty much as expected, Higashioka would catch, which I don't expect to see a whole lot moving forward now that Kluber's out. I think Higashioka is going to catch Cole and here and there, because Higgy, at the plate has certainly cooled off, and Sanchez, while he makes these brain-dead decisions on the base paths and is a frustrating guy to root for, relatively speaking, has done all right at the plate. So in this one, there would be no score. In the third, Tampa Bay would get on the board with a single by Kevin Kiermaier, who was kind of a thorn in the Yankee side for most of the series. And then Manny Margot would get an RBI double. They would escape further trouble, but Tampa takes that early 1-0 lead. And then the fourth, this person I would say was probably the player of the series, and he's been fantastic for a while now, and that's Austin Meadows. Austin Meadows, his first of, I believe, 3 home runs this series. And so it's a solo shot and makes it 2-0. And then in the fifth, another run against Taillon, a leadoff double by Kiermaier. Then, eventually with 2 outs, a clutch RBI single for Randy Arozarena, and that gives Tampa a 3-0 lead. Through 5, that would be it for Rich Hill, which was surprising. I don't really know why. I don't believe there was an injury of any sort, but Rich Hill only goes 5, but with that Rays bullpen, just as well. Doesn't really matter. So in the 6th, Gleyber Torres makes an error, throwing error. Yandy Diaz reaches, and bad job by Gleyber there. His defense has been worse lately. I mean, not much else to say there. And then Taylor Walls walks, and that would be it for Taillon. So, with Taillon, not terrible, not amazing, but, again, the bigger issue is the offense. And so Lucas Licky would come in and just continue to be excellent. So he would get a couple appearances in this series. And overall now, 16 and a third innings of scoreless ball from Lucas Licky. Someone who I thought might have just been kind of smoke and mirrors in the spring training has been legit. So Licky pitches, gets out of that jam and keeps it at 3-0. Michael Wacha comes into the sixth, pitches a scoreless sixth. Licky pitches a 1-2-3 seventh. And then with 2 outs at the bottom of the seventh, the first of 3 home runs in the series for Miguel, and first of the season for Miguel Andujar. So Andujar showing some pop, which is good to see. He's been frustrating, and we'll see a couple of instances in the series where in the clutch spots, he's not coming through. He has not come through according to score position, but 3 home runs this series, good sign. Sanchez pinch hits for Higashioka, and they bring Pete Fairbanks in for Wacha. And Sanchez walks, and then Brett Gardner strikes out. So Gardner, not until the last game of the series, got going. And Gardner, again, not the guy you really want as an everyday player, but that's where they're at. And Wandy Peralta comes into the eighth, pitches a scoreless eighth. Ryan Thompson pitches a 1-2-3 eighth for Tampa. Sessa pitches a scoreless ninth. And then J.P. Fireeisen, former Yankee farmhand, would run into a little bit of trouble where Rougned Odor gets a 2-out double, and then Miguel Andujar strikes out 10 the game. So Tampa wins 3-1. Fantastic pitching performance by the Rays. Yankees losing streak increases to 4 at this point. And so, yeah, not good in Yankee land at this stage in the game. We move to game 2. And game 2 would be a pitching matchup of Tyler Glasnow and Domingo Germán. So it's funny how in this series, the Yankees would win the Glasnow start and the Rays would win the Garrett Cole start. In this one, Stanton gets a day off and Gleyber gets a day off as well. Not a great looking lineup where Rougned Odor is batting second and Mike Ford, which thank God this was his last game for a while, as after this game he was sent down. He batted fifth and went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, dropping his batting average to 133. Luckily, no more Mike Ford for the foreseeable future. So yeah, Germán, Glasnow, and it didn't start off well. Did not. In the top of the first, with a base open. So Lau singles, and also I've been noticing this because this would be a single off of Germán. Yankee pitching, when it comes to fielding, I know sometimes it's freak plays, but they're not great at just getting that ground ball back to them. I've noticed that a lot, and some of them have been errors. Most of them have just been ruled as hits, but you'd like that for that to improve. So yeah, the bad fielding isn't just the position players, it's the pitchers as well. So eventually it's Lau moves to second, and there's 2 outs, and Meadows has amazing numbers off Germán, and they don't pitch around him. I mean, I'm not saying you have to intentionally walk him, but just pitch carefully. Meadows hits a 2-run homer. And the Yankees ended up winning this game, and so it was never asked, but that really could have been costly. And, yeah, mind-boggling, honestly. So they're down 2-0 against Glasnow, so that's a problem. But Germán settles in a bit, and in the third, the Yanks get a 2-out rally, started by a Clint Frazier walk, which he will do from time to time. I will say, Clint Frazier probably at times is a little too patient, gets that 2-out walk. Then DJ LeMahieu gets an infield single. And so it's first and second, and Rougned Odor hits a hard single. Too hard for Frazier to score. So it's bases loaded, 2 out, and Aaron Judge draws a walk to score a run, and then a wild pitch scores LeMahieu. And so that ties it up at 2. So they score their runs on a walk. I mean, it's a good 2-out rally, but that's how it wasn't based on a hit. It was, a walk by Judge and a wild pitch by Glasnow. So that ties it up at 2. Then in the bottom of the fourth, they would take the lead. Miguel Andujar, home runs in back-to-back games. And so that makes it 3-2. But the next inning, which is a trend that I've seen, again with Yankee pitching, where they've been really good, don't get me wrong. But the innings that they give up runs, it seems to be after we score. And Kevin Kiermaier, who I had said had been someone who was giving the Yankees troubles, leadoff home run after the Andujar homer the inning before, we're tied at 3. And Germán would go 5. And this is where the bullpen really does a nice job. Sans Wandy Peralta. So Peralta gets a ground out of Arozarena in the 6th, but then Choi and Meadows, the lefties, both walk. So Peralta, who is honestly like I keep on saying, liked by the Yanks in terms of the opportunities he gets, doesn't really come through there. But luckily, though, when Jonathan Loaiza comes in to face Yandy Diaz, there's a ball that gets by Sanchez a little bit. But Sanchez does a really great job of getting Austin Meadows, who was not the lead runner, out at first. Meadows kind of, I don't know what he was thinking about, but Sanchez fires it, 4 tags him out. And so that was really important. And so then Yandy Diaz does walk, but then Joey Wendle strikes out. So Loaizaga gets out of that jam. And so Glasnow's still in there. And he would be in there through the 7th. So Loaizaga pitches a scoreless 7th. In the bottom of the 7th, bad base running by Gary Sanchez. So he gets the leadoff double. But then Andujar, not a good job by Andujar. You want to hit it the other way. He doesn't. He grounds out to short, and Sanchez just gets thrown out at third. Just not smart there. You don't want to make that out at third. He gets booed off the field. They wouldn't score, the rest of the inning. And so in the 8th, Chad Green comes on and gets a couple strikeouts, then a couple of walks, and then Joey Wendle hits a fly ball into kind of shallow right. Frazier takes a circuitous route to get to the ball, but he would dive and make the play. So a nice diving catch by Clint to keep the game tied. And so in the 8th, JP Fireeisen would come in with 2 outs. He gets the first 2 outs. Judge then walks. Gio gets a single. They pinch hit Stanton for Ford. I would have, for many different reasons, pinch hit Torres instead of Stanton. Just in terms of what ended up happening was they ended up burning Stanton and Wade just to use Torres eventually later. And I like Torres a little bit more in these first and second 2-out spots. If you need that home run or power, go with Stanton, absolutely. If you kind of just need that single, I might prefer Glaber. Stanton grounds out. And so Fireeisen gets out of it. They go to the top of the 9th tied. Chapman pitches a 1-2-3 inning. Wade replaces Stanton. And they do a little bit of defensive shifting. Pete Fairbanks pitches the bottom of the 9th. They also get a little 2-out thing going where Gardner walks, steals second. Frazier walks. So at first and second 2 outs, LeMahieu hits a hard line drive to second, but Brandon Lau is positioned perfectly. And so we go to extras. Lucas Licky comes on in the 10th. And I always say you can kind of afford giving up the run, but if you give up none, that's a really good job with that runner on second. Licky gives up no runs. Great job by Lucas. And so that holds it at a tie going to the bottom of the 10th. Andrew Kittredge comes on, and Odor gets the job done. Hits the ground ball to second, moves LeMahieu over to third. So then Judge is intentionally walked, and then that's where Gio Urshela strikes out swinging. So Gio, who is one of the best Yankees, bar none. But he has not come through in runners in scoring position lately. And that was a spot where just a fly ball does it. And he strikes out. So the game continues. Glaber pinch hits for Wade, walks. And then Gary Sanchez strikes out swinging. On a pitch in the dirt. And at that spot in the game, it was bases loaded. So a walk obviously would have won the game. He was a pitch away from getting to a full count, but he strikes out. So we go to the 11th, and then Luis Cessa comes on. Cessa does a good job for this team. He really is in a mop-up role. But Cessa pitches a scoreless 11th with that runner on second. So again, the bullpen did everything it could to give the Yankees a chance, and eventually, finally, they would break through at the very end. Andujar grounds out, does not advance Sanchez. Bad job by Andujar. Gardner does ground out. So Sanchez moves to third with 2 outs, and then Clint Frazier with a walk-off 2-run homer. Team goes wild, everyone's happy, and the Yankees escape with a much-needed win. Good job by Clint. So Yankees win 5-3, tie up the series. We move to Game 3. In Game 3, it would be a matchup between Shane McClanahan, the lefty, against another lefty, Jordan Montgomery. And Montgomery did a good job in this one. This was probably, I'd say definitely, out of the 4 pitching performances, the best one. I'd give it to Montgomery. Like I said, McClanahan, Montgomery, and in the first, it would be the Yankees who would be the team to score first. And a 1-out single by Stanton. And with 2 outs, Gio Urshela, 2-run homer, who had been struggling at the plate to that point. Opposite field, 2-run homer gives the Yankees a 2-0 lead. And Montgomery would throw up some zeros. for the next couple of innings until the top of the fourth. And in the top of the fourth, he runs into some trouble. Meadows gets a leadoff single. Mike Brosseau gets a double. And then Margot gets an RBI ground out where they actually get Brosseau out of third. So a bad bit of base running by Brosseau. The run scores, it's 2-1, but that would be it for the inning. So could have been worse. In the bottom of the fourth, the Yankees would score. Gleyber Torres gets a leadoff double. Then Odor singles, first and third. Sanchez walks. Bases loaded for Miguel Andujar, who strikes out. So again, Andujar, who is showing signs of life with big spots, isn't really getting it done. Then they bring in Ryan Thompson, and then here is kind of the big hit of the game. Again, it is Clint Frazier. 2-run single for Clint Frazier, and it gives the Yanks a 4-1 lead. That was big. And then DJ LeMahieu strikes out. And I just want to say with LeMahieu, it's just, he gets his hits. He's lacking pop, and he's not coming through at runners in scoring position. It is just a different looking player this year. And so LeMahieu strikes out there. And I just, there were players that had worse series, but LeMahieu, it's frustrating, and it needs to improve. So the Yankees wouldn't score after the 2-run single by Frazier. So it's 4-1. In the fifth, leadoff walk to Taylor Walls, which you don't want to do. And then Odor gets a ground ball, hits him when Brett Phillips is up. And he should have just taken the easy out at first in that spot. 4-1 game. He decides to try to get the double play, and he gets no one out. He throws it away. Everyone's safe. Runners advance to, I believe, first and third. Terrible job by Odor. Just get the easy out. So his fielding has also been kind of sketchy, where he'll make good plays, but he'll just make ones that just aren't smart. Luckily, Arozarena strikes out, and then Yandy Diaz gets a sac fly. So it's 4-2. Colin McHugh comes in for Ryan Thompson, pitches a scoreless fifth. In the sixth, Montgomery pitches a good inning. And then in the sixth, so it's 4-2 at this point, Andujar leadoff single, Frazier strikeout, LeMahieu walk, then a wild pitch moves the runners over to second and third, and Stanton, on just a terrible outside pitch, strikes out. So Stanton had a chance to really blow the game kind of open or give him a little more of a cushion, doesn't get it done, and then Judge flies out. It's always the next guy that hits the fly ball, not the one that you need. So it's 4-2. We head to the seventh, and Wendell hits a ball right to Montgomery, who, can't field it. It's an error on Montgomery. And just like I said, pitchers need to do a better job fielding their position. Montgomery doesn't. He should have made the play. And then Taylor Walls singles. So first and second, Phillips strikes out, but there's a double steal. Wendell and Walls. So second and third, one out, and Montgomery's out of the game. And this is tough. It's 4-2, second and third, one out. Loizaga strikes out Arozarena. Big strikeout. Then Ji-Man Choi pinch hits for Yandy Diaz and gets a single off of Loizaga's glove. Hit it pretty well, Choi. It's a run-scoring single. It's 4-3, but then Meadows grounds out. So they hold the lead, 4-3. Jeffrey Springs comes on, and then here's where the base running just gets really bad again. Lefty Jeffrey Springs comes on, leadoff double for Gio, and then Gleyber Torres walks. So it's first and second, no out. Ball gets by Mejia a little bit, and Gio Urshela gets thrown out of third by a lot. So Gio, another bad base runner on this team. Terrible job. And then Odor flies out. And then Gleyber, who probably should have went to second on that play where Gio got thrown out of third, Gleyber gets picked off at first. I don't know what Gleyber was thinking about. Brutal base running. It continues. And so it stays 4-3. In the eighth, Chad Green gets the job done. Pitches a good eighth. And Springs stayed on for the eighth and was able to take care of that. We head to the ninth. This is when it gets interesting. Chapman. Couple of walks, Walls and Zunino, and a 4-pitch walk to Zunino. But he's able to reel it in, thank God. And Arozarena strikes out. So a lot of key outs by Arozarena. Didn't really do much of anything. I mean, he did get that RBI single in game one, but Arozarena didn't come through. And then the at-bat of the inning was Ji-Man Choi. Ji-Man Choi against the lefty Chapman. This went like 7, 8, 9 pitches, and eventually Chapman wins the battle. And then, ironically, Meadows grounds out to Chapman, makes the play, gets the out. Yankees survive and win at 4-3. So those two games were close. The Yankees win them both. And they head to the last game with Cole on the mound, but what would have been without Loizaga, Green, and Chapman. So you need length out of Cole. And in this one, no Stanton again. Judge at DH, which we've seen a lot of Judge at DH. Yeah, Odor batting fifth against a lefty, but, again, it kind of just is what it is. And so, yeah, Ryan Yarbrough against Gerrit Cole, and the guy who ended up getting the complete game would not be the one that you would have necessarily expected. It just felt like Cole from the get-go wasn't feeling it, and we've seen that a lot from him. His body language has not been great lately. It just doesn't feel like Cole is quite comfortable on the mound. I don't know what it is, and he's usually able to kind of maneuver through, but it didn't happen today. And also, a narrative of this game was bad job by the ump. And that would be true. Yarbrough got every call. Cole didn't get every call, but still, no excuse. This was a lopsided loss, but certainly umps did them no favors, and Boone would eventually be ejected in the seventh. Just arguing balls and strikes. So that was definitely a point of contention in this one. But in the bottom of the third, Yankees get on the board. Brett Gardner, first home run of the year. This was a good game for Gardner, off the lefty, ironically. So a solo shot for Gardy, and the Yankees take a 1-0 lead. But like I said, that response, it happens, and it's Austin Meadows, 14th homer of the year for Meadows, 2-run shot off Cole. Meadows homered off Cole in that pivotal game 5 last year in the playoffs, and Meadows does it again here, 2-1. Then the bottom of the fourth, this is where the game is lost. Judge leadoff single, Gio then gets a double. So second and third, no out. Odor hits a fly ball in foul territory that's way too shallow, no advance, and then Clint Frazier strikes out looking. That pitch was a strike. It was the strikes before, the 2 strikes before that were not, but that one was. And then Andujar strikes out again. Andujar just not really coming through in the clutch. So 2-1 Tampa still, and the top of the fifth is kind of when it all unravels. Leadoff walk to Zunino, and there was some questionable, pitches there, but you don't want to do it. Then he gets Taylor Walls to strike out. And then there's an infield single by Kiermaier where it looked like Kiermaier might have went out of the baseline. It's not reviewable. Boone after the game said that he thought it was the right call. It was close. I could have seen them saying Kiermaier was out of the baseline. He wasn't, and that would actually extend the inning because Arozarena strikes out. In theory, if Kiermaier was out, the inning would have been over. And so what happens? Tampa comes through as they normally do. Brandon Lau RBI single, Yandy Diaz 2-run single, 5-1, game over. And so, yeah, Cole would be done after 5. Nelson would come on in the 6th, pitch a scoreless 6, but then the 7th gets into all sorts of trouble. Nick Nelson not doing well. I hope he's sent down. He should not be part of the equation. Maybe we'll see him later on, but I'd expect him to. There's no need for him up here, honestly. But Nelson would give up a 1-out single to Arozarena. And that was another one where it kind of just Nelson doesn't field it. Arozarena is still second. Brandon Lau walks. Another walk to Yandy Diaz. And then you get a bases clearing double by Austin Meadows. 5 RBIs in the day for Meadows. And then Margot would ground out. And then Joey Wendell would get an RBI single. So that would make it 9-1. They bring in Luis Cessa into a 9-1 game. I mean, I understand that Nestor Cortez might be used. I could see him being in like a piggyback role behind Michael King tomorrow, but why is Cessa pitching in complete mop-up? Krisky would pitch the 9th, which he should have, but that's here nor there. Miguel Andujar would hit a solo home run in the 7th. So Andujar, his 3rd home run of the series, matching Meadows. And so that would make it 9-2. Cessa pitches a scoreless 7th and 8th. And Yarbrough and Krisky pitches a scoreless 9th, and Yarbrough gets a complete game, pitches 9 innings, throws 113 pitches, and the Rays win at 9-2. So a very sour end to this series. And Cole, an off day for Gerrit Cole, for sure. And so now we head to this Boston series, the first time they've played Boston all year. The matchups will be as follows. Nate Eovaldi versus Michael King. I just don't love the prospect of Michael King starting, so that matchup I don't love. Eovaldi is hittable, but we'll see. And then game 2 will be Eduardo Rodriguez, who has done well in the past, but has struggled so far this season against Jameson Taillon. That one could go either way. And then the last one will be Sunday Night Baseball, and that'll be Garrett Richards versus Domingo Germán. So, again, here, you really want to win this series. I think that games against Boston will be winnable as compared to Tampa. I really view Tampa as a much tougher opponent than Boston. Not that Boston's easy. I mean, Boston's going to be really a challenge, but you're at home, and the hope is to take 2 out of 3 at bare minimum. You don't want to start slipping too far away in these standings. So, like I said, this Michael King first start I think is going to be tricky. If you can somehow win that one, you're setting yourself up for success the rest of the series. So we'll see what happens. Boston coming to town. A big week continues for the Yankees.